Hi everyone, it's Lizzie, and today I am going to be reviewing Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham, but I do think it will be more of a discussion rather than a review, just because I usually review fiction books and this is non-fiction, so it's a little bit different, so I thought I'd take a different approach. This book was published in the second half of 2016, though I don't know the exact month. I know that I wanted it in December because I must have made people really aware of the fact, and I received it for Christmas in 2016. But I didn't actually read it until October of 2017. I'm not really sure why I held off on reading a book that I really wanted to read. Sometimes it's like, it's just there, and you know it's there, and you can read it whenever, but I'm not reading it. I'm not really sure why I do that sometimes. Aside from the fact that I also had the great reading hiatus of 2017 that lasted 2 miserable months, I'm really glad that I read it when I did, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it if I tried to read it before then. Yeah. It did still take me a while to read this book though, because I do a lot of my reading on my commute to and from work, and I don't feel like this is a book to read on a train. Certainly not like the peak hour commutes on a train anyway. Before I really get into this video, I feel like I should give the disclaimer that I bloody love Lauren Graham. I fell in love with her on Gilmore Girls, I watched Parenthood because of her, and any interviews, mainly Ellen's, that I've seen her in, I really enjoy her personality and just her as a person. And it's the main reason that I wanted to read this book, which is just funny. I'm not really sure why you would pick up this book if you didn't like her, but at the same time maybe you'll read this book and then you will like her if you didn't already. Lauren Graham does have a fiction book that I have not read yet called Someday, Someday Maybe, and it's mainly because I couldn't find it on the shelves in my bookstore, and I'm kind of lazy at doing the special ordering, and it has been so long since I've put an order in at Book Depository. It's way overdue. I finally put in a special order and I now have Someday, Someday Maybe, and now I have it. I haven't actually read it yet, but I don't think it affects your reading experience of Talking as Fast as I Can. This book is a collection of personal essays that are candid and laugh out loud funny. Another reason it wasn't great to read on the train. I feel like she writes the way she talks, and her personality seems to be very similar to Lorelai Gilmore's as well, which just makes her even more lovable to me. It makes you feel like when you're reading it, you're almost having a conversation with her instead. It's just comfortable and enjoyable. The audiobook is even narrated by her, which I am very tempted to buy just to listen to her read the book to me, even though I've already read the book for myself. The essays are stories about life and love, her early days starting out as an actress, working as a woman in Hollywood, as well as inside knowledge on Gilmore Girls and Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life. One of the most enjoyable parts of this book was where Lauren takes time to sit down and binge watch the entire 7 series of Gilmore Girls just so that she can give a running commentary, which as a huge fan of the series was incredibly exciting and just wonderful to read. Lauren has included photos throughout which gives an extra glimpse into the stories she's telling, and I feel provides that personal touch. Another favourite part of the book for me was that Lauren has included her reflections upon revisiting Gilmore Girls to film A Year in the Life, and she's included the little diary entries that she wrote that kind of document the whole experience, and I kind of think that that's just wonderful, marvelous. She does mention some spoilers, but she also gives a fair warning, like spoilers in capitals, do not read ahead and skip towards this page, just in case you haven't already watched the revival, which I'm not really sure why you haven't, and you should just go and do that really, because it's great. I will say that some essays felt a little bit harder to read and they took a little bit longer to get through, but all of them were well written and they were still great to read. Overall, I rated this book 5 stars, and you could say that that's a fangirl rating, and I think you'd be accurate. But at the same time, I just think that she's a great person, and I have enjoyed everything this book has had to offer, and so I couldn't really fault it, and I think it deserves the 5 stars. My usual question of who my favourite character was isn't really applicable here. My favourite character was Lauren Graham, writing as Lauren Graham, telling stories about Lauren Graham's life. She was the best. The aspect about this book that I enjoyed the most, like I said, it feels like a conversation because she writes the way that she talks, and I find that really easy to read, and I feel like I can hear her voice in my head even though I'm not listening to the audiobook, and it feels really personal and welcoming, and I really enjoy that about this book. I feel like the perfect place to read this is either in a cafe or curled up on your couch, somewhere where you're comfortable and that you can laugh out loud. Who would I be in this book? Again, not really applicable to this book, but I did do a quiz on which Gilmore Girl I would be before the revival was released back in 2016, so if you want to watch that, I will put a link in the description and you can go and do that. What has this book inspired me to do? I think after reading this, it's definitely inspired me to work harder, to focus on my goals, and not give up regardless of who's paying attention. I feel like that's always an important thing to be inspired to do, and you know, just keep going. If you really like what you're doing and you want to keep doing it, then keep doing it. But straight away, I finished this book in a cafe with coffee in my hand and tears in my eyes. They were happy tears, and I just wanted to drink some more coffee and start rewatching Gilmore Girls for the umpteenth time. I honestly have no idea how many times I've actually watched the series in its entirety, but like a lot. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any recommendations of books you would either like me to read or review, please let me know down in the comments, or you can tweet me on Twitter as well, because I would like to see them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!